Answer the question. Oh, my stars. I need my think tank to save me from watching any more of Jason Mangold because he's driving me nuts. My guest tonight, former prosecutor, criminal defense attorney Aaron Henriksen, and we got criminal defense attorneys Shania King and Michael Bixon. Thank you. I can't with him. Just give me some comments. Throw them at me. Come on. What do you think?
He's squirrely.
Yeah,
Squirrely.
absolutely.
I mean, he's constantly eyes shifting. He's looking at everybody in the room. I don't know. He bugs me.
He bugs me more.
It's just like a nightmare witness. You know, when whichever side you're dealing with and you have a witness up there and they're just, every question you put out there, no matter what it is, they're going to give you a hard time about. And that's what it reminds me of.
But I don't feel like he was that way on direct with the prosecution. And that is what I find, and Shania, you see this all the time when you're having to cross-examine witnesses. When they're not nice to the prosecution, they're nice to the prosecution, or they answer the prosecution's questions appropriately, and then they answer your questions with questions. Everything was a question with this guy.
He seemed defensive. He didn't want to fall into a trap. Everything, he was just looking not to fall into a trap. He didn't know what to look for. It's like a landmine. So I think he was very defensive.
But what is confounding about him being defensive is that he is open, that he loved this woman, that, yesterday on direct, there was some crazy eye contact between these two, clearly some residual affection. So what is he being so defensive about?
Well, I don't know, but I was thinking there while you were talking to play devil's advocate a little bit.
Yeah, please do, please, somebody.
This particular defense attorney, she's very good. She's a strong cross,
Yeah,
aggressive cross,
yeah.
and perhaps, and I didn't see the beginning of it, but it might have played better to get him, maybe throw him some softballs to get him going along with you a little bit, get him on your side, not on your side, but get him answering your questions.
I completely understand, but I just don't know that would have made a difference.
I don't know. I'm actually sort of inclined to agree. I think that oftentimes he might have been more open to their position, but based on the way that certain questions are asked, or even just a certain gut feeling you get from some people, you're not inclined to really be that open to them or be that easy in terms of questioning with them.
Okay, here's what I mean. There's just no reason for him to be combative with one side versus the other because he is coming in here really as a fact witness, okay? So no one's trying to demonstrate that he has any bias, that he's on one side or the other. And in fact, because of his openness about his love for Ezra McCandless, there's just no reasonable explanation for why he would be, he would answer the questions appropriately for the prosecution and not for the defense. I would think it would be the other way around, is my point.
And I would agree with you, but that's what I'm saying. I think there is just a friction between him and her. I don't think it's the position that she's in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm saying it's more
so you think
the way
it's
that
just,
she's asking, the questions that she's asking. It's something that I think there's just a friction between the two, and it happens sometimes.
Did you get that, Shania?
I did. At one point, I think he was indicating the witness that she wasn't letting him finish his question, answers.
Sure.
So I think there's not a really good give and take between them both.
How would you have handled this? Okay, so let's just say that you're getting a witness that you're feeling that kind of friction with, to use Bixon's word. How would you change that around?
I would lull them into a sense of comfortability and say, it looks like you got your appearance together today and you look good today. How are you feeling? I'm okay. Okay, so let's talk about something. You were okay on that day? No, I wasn't okay. I was the love of my life. I would just get them talking. And so I think
it's a great strategy.
Yeah.
I think that's a great strategy. I mean, what else can you do?
I think you just start with easy questions. I mean, you have a list, presumably, of points you're trying to score and get across. Start with some easy stuff and sort of, go through what he said on direct and just get him saying, yeah, that's right, correct, and then just ease into the points you want to make, and he probably would go with you, because I agree with you, Simi, he has no reason to fight the defense here.
So would it have been a good idea for the defense attorney to start off with the questions to establish that they did have a significant relationship, that he does care about her, and almost bringing out his good qualities, that he was a good boyfriend, a good friend, a good...
Yeah, absolutely. Don't attack him on the age difference. Talk about how
that was
the
brutal. And then they're all pulling out their calculators in the courtroom to figure out exactly, well, you were, it was just cringy. There was no other word for it.
Yeah, no, honestly, I agree, and I think that a lot of this is really based off the questions she's asking and how she's asking them. I mean, you would think he'd be more inclined to agree with her than the prosecutors in this case, you know? But the way that I think it's sort of unfolding...
That's what I just don't understand.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying. I think, like we've established, it's really just a relationship between the two, and the way, because you do build a relationship with someone on the stand, and I think that that's just sort of, they put the wrong foot forward.
You know what? I wonder why she crossed the female lawyer as opposed to the male lawyer, because Aaron Nelson is very soothing, like you were saying, like soothing. He's more like that. But there's nothing you could do. I mean, have you ever seen a circumstance, I have not, where mid-cross you switch lawyers?
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah, exactly. Could you just imagine being like, hey, Shania, can you take this?
You know what, though?
I'm not doing a good job here.
This might be the case where you want to do that, though, because this is like rough watching it, you know? And I think that they're missing a lot of stuff because of that antagonistic relationship that's building up between the two of them.
But she never at any point, Deja Vishny, the defense attorney, she never at any point said to the judge, hey, can you please instruct the witness to answer the questions? That exchange that we just saw in the beginning with the judge, that was at the very, very end. She could have earlier said to the judge, can you please instruct the witness to answer yes or no? Would that have been a good idea?
I mean, I've certainly had that happen before, and I think there's a kind or a nice way to do it, to say, look, you know, I'll give you a chance to explain your answer, but just please yes or no first, and then if you need to explain, I'll give you all the time in the world you need, and just be just less confrontational, I guess.
Does it even matter if Jason Mengel comes across as unlikable? And who does it matter to?
I don't think it matters, and if it hurts anybody, I think it hurts the state right now.
Really?
If he's unlikable.
Okay, do you agree?
I think I would want him to be likable because here they're missing an important angle.
So you're saying for the defense?
For the defense.
Okay.
Because here we want to paint him as this concerned boyfriend, and had they taken the boyfriend's or ex-boyfriend's concerns serious, maybe we could have avoided this whole, incident.
I actually just want to point something out. So there was, in some of the motion practice, the defense actually proffered some of Jason Mengel's testimony that it would support their theory that the victim was in fact aggressive and violent. And part of his testimony, he talks about how Woodworth at some point wanted to kill himself, slit his wrist, he bandaged it up. So all of these things are good for the defense.
Absolutely. And I think that through better cross, it would have been easier to get that as a more favorable position for your side, right? I think that's what was missed.
All right, well, don't get nervous because we have lots more of Jason Mengel, Ezra McCandless's paramour. That's next.
This is the kind of card that has America talking. With it, people with Medicare are getting all-in-one coverage for their doctor visits, hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll. Whether for yourself or someone you love, call the number on the screen now. Call now.
Best Fiends. Collect JoJo and tons of other cute characters. Solve thousands of fun puzzles. Download Best Fiends for free today. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
I hate asking friends for rides, even if they don't mind. I have a car. I can't afford car insurance. I have to work.
Need car insurance? Get covered for as little as $20 down at goodtogo.com. Get a free rate quote in under a minute and proof of insurance on the spot. Then get where you're going on your own.
Visit goodtogo.com. It's fast, cheap, and easy. Visit goodtogo.com. That's good, the number 2, go.com.
My favorite thing about banking with Chime is getting my paycheck up to 2 days early, which is really cool because I walk into the office and I'm already boasting that I got paid. My name is Dulce and I love banking with Chime.
Get paid up to 2 days early. Chime.com.
Attention! The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has officially authorized new benefits that Medicare Advantage plans may include. To get the benefits you deserve, you can call the Medicare Coverage Helpline.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. If you're on Medicare, this is important information. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline and they instantly looked up my coverage. In this one simple call, they offered to enroll me in a plan that includes rides to medical appointments, private home aides, doctors and nurses' visits by telephone, and even home-delivered meals. The plan also includes dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost.
Don't delay. Call to see if the new benefits are available in your area.
Call the number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-497-5903. That's 1-800-497-5903 now.
This is important news for people who have taken Zantac or its generic ranitidine and then suffered from cancer. Zantac and generic ranitidine have been linked to cancers such as bladder cancer and kidney cancer. According to the FDA, Zantac and ranitidine contain NDMA, a known cancer-causing agent. NDMA has been linked to cancers of the bladder, kidney, colon, esophagus, liver, ovaries, pancreas, and other cancers. If you or a loved one took Zantac or ranitidine and were then diagnosed with cancer, call the lawyers at Davis & Crump right now to see if you're eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call the lawyers at Davis & Crump right now if you or a loved one took Zantac or generic ranitidine and were then diagnosed with bladder cancer, kidney cancer, or any of these cancers. Call now to see if you're eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call Davis & Crump right now. Operators are standing by.
Later on, you found out that Alex was missing, right? Right?
Much later on, yes.
And your first thought was that he had assaulted Ezra and then went on the lam.
I was like, nothing makes sense.
Okay, but that was your first thought, right?
She was injured and her vehicle was missing.
Okay. Let me just say something. Going back to something you testified about yesterday, you were asked some questions by the prosecutor about things Ezra McCandless had told you about sex with Alex, right?
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah, and what you said yesterday was, she told you, I'm not going to quote you word for word yesterday, but you know that Alex did things she didn't like and wasn't comfortable with.
She had voiced that at moments, yes.
Yeah, and she had voiced to you specifically that things went too fast.
That they went too fast, yes.
And I think the word you used was that there was some choking and boarding, right?
I'm not specifically sure what the terms, or the nomenclatures of the terms she used at the time, but those are the ones I can recall.
And she told you that when she didn't want to do things, Alex would tell her those things were unfair. That was unfair to him, right?
That it was unfair to him, yes.
Okay.
The nomenclature of BDSM. There is nomenclature. That's right. Okay, Think Tank is still with me. Okay, what? Just not, anything he says, I'm just not buying it. You know, I don't. Okay, so let's just piece by piece. He says that when he thought that it would be, in fact, Alex Woodworth who would have assaulted Ezra. Okay, he comes up with that. There has been, and this is second week of trial. We're all on like day 27 of the state's case. There has been no testimony from anyone else that Alex Woodworth was violent or aggressive or so attached to her. I just want to also remind everyone that they broke up about a month, February 24th, 25th, and the killing occurred on March 22nd. Alex Woodworth wasn't showing up at her house or her parents' house or texting and messaging or stalking her in any way. How is what he is saying credible?
Well, I think that this is a very unique relationship, to be fair, right?
Between Mangle and McCandless.
Between all of them.
The pyramid.
Yeah, I mean, really, because they were all sort of, you hear him say, well, I loved him, and it's a unique relationship between everyone involved in this case. And I think from the other people that we've heard testify so far, and I'm not surprised that what he's talking about is different. I don't think it's so biased because of that unique relationship that they have. I actually expect him to talk about him in a different way because he knew him in a different way from everyone else.
But you're saying that Mengel knew Woodworth and different than everyone else. Okay, I have to push back on that because there have been other witnesses that have come on who knew Alex Woodworth well, who have testified that he was in fact a peaceful person. And of course, prosecution is being allowed to bring in Alex Woodworth's reputation for peacefulness because the defense has already said they're going to use self-defense and put his character into question. So there's just this one witness who's saying this. How credible is that nobody else is corroborating that Alex Woodworth was in fact violent or aggressive?
I agree with you. I don't know how credible it is. Now clearly he has a lot more information, or he knows Alex in this different way.
I mean, I see why you're saying that, but I see why you said that too. I just don't believe that he does.
I agree with you. I think he was just blocking. I don't think that he actually believed him to be a credible with that. I just think he didn't want his girl taken, like last time.
Okay, now here's the other part of this, okay? He comes on and he's saying about that Ezra was uncomfortable with some of the sexual wants of Alex Woodworth, and he wasn't familiar with the nomenclature. Okay, does anyone know what boarding is? Or no, you know what? I don't know if we could talk about it, so don't even tell me. Because I'm like Googling boarding and other things are coming up. Okay, so he doesn't know the nomenclature. Fine. Again, no one else. There have been friends all from Racy's, right? Because everyone in the world just hangs out at Racy's. They're all saying, about the BDSM. His roommate came and testified today and then spoke to Julie Grant and gave us an exclusive interview. Again, was asked about the BDSM. No one is saying this. No one else is saying this. Does Jason Mengel have some type of specialized knowledge, perhaps, that maybe nobody else has?
He's a medic.
Does that make you a BDSM?
A high degree of empathy that allows him to understand. I mean, look, and really, this is a weird love triangle-ish sort of situation, and I think what was going on between him and the victim and the defendant, it creates this unique situation.
We're going to now shift gears. Okay, so here's a fun fact. And this is so just my own knowledge and okay, so his birthday is April 6th and her birthday is October 6th, and those are really compatible signs astrologically. Oh my God, Vinny is never going to let me sub again after I throw this out there. Exactly, right. So, okay, so let's watch some sound from Ezra's police interview. And this is when she was driving. She claims that she was driving while Alex was in the passenger seat. Let's take a listen.
Okay, so then you left. And what vehicle did you leave in?
It's my car.
Okay. And then who was driving?
I was driving.
Okay. And then Alex was in the passenger seat?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what happened?
And then we were driving and I was talking about stuff and he seemed a little upset about some things, and then after that it just kind of gets funky, like in my brain. Like I just start to, it's like there's a blank slate. I talked a little bit about, like, you probably get questioned and stuff like that. That's what I told him. Is like, I'm sure you might get questioned at some point during the case and things. And he seemed upset about it. But he mostly seemed upset about Jason and I, because he told me, like, that if I proceeded to talk to Jason, he would be very upset.
Okay. First, I want you to give me your thoughts on her voice, because all of you have been through these situations where you get terabytes and megabytes of data, and you have to listen to these type of calls. You get the transcripts, and a lot can be inferred from someone's voice. Who wants to go first?
Just
Bixon.
total lack of emotion. I mean, it's just like she's sort of dead inside. There's just nothing there. You know, it's just this almost drugged sounding, lethargic, half awake voice. I don't even, it's weird.
Yeah, no, I do find it.
I got timid and soft. I didn't get.
You really got
cold-hearted.
timid?
I got timid. Like, she's like, I'm talking like this. She's not.
Okay, wait. When you say timid, though, is it timid authentic or timid fake?
Fake.
Yeah. Aaron?
I guess maybe I'm in the middle. It's like almost like she shut. I agree. She's almost like she shut down to me. Like it just sounds like.
But shut down seems authentic. So you know that's fine. But do you think it's authentic?
I mean, when I listen to that, I go back to the first night when she's at the farmer's house and she's not showing any. Like she's like crying, but there's no tears. So,
okay, and just for purposes, that interview, I believe, was from March 23rd, the day after the killing. Also, in that interview, she never says, hey, BTW, Alex Woodworth in my car, dead.
Right.
Well, yeah, but again, to be fair, if she just survived a possible rape scenario and she's traumatized and...
Right. No, that's a point, because she does say there her mind went blank. Now, I want you to take that and, Shania, consider this. Next week, or actually starting tomorrow, we should be hearing from a trauma expert. And Ezra McCandless, she's had 2 car accidents, pretty severe, where this expert is going to say she suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, and maybe that is really the impetus to how she's behaving now. Will that help her case, looking ahead?
I think it will if they can correlate those prior accidents to what occurred here, because if you're just going to say something happened in the past without drawing that connection, was it the intimate space of the vehicle, was it their surroundings, what triggered that PTSD? I think if you can make that connection, then I think that it will be a good defense.
Okay, the law firm of Henriksen, King, and Bixon, who are going to stick with me. Closing arguments continues at the top of the hour.
He was seeing someone who was identifying as a male.
Ezra McCandless had changed her name from Monica to Ezra. She is standing trial for stabbing one of her lovers to death.
Was this murder?
She fought to survive.
How many stab wounds are too much for self-defense?
Her wounds could have been self-inflicted.
This case is about a twisted form of love.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare or who expects to join soon.
This card I'm holding in my hand, it's an example of an all-in-one Medicare Advantage membership card.
The kind of Medicare coverage that comes with this simple little card can help you in so many ways.
The Medicare Advantage plan that I've got, it has paved the way for more independence. It's all-inclusive. They take care of all my pharmacy, they take care of all my medical, they take care of my doctor bills.
I actually don't even have to pay for a doctor visit, and that's fantastic.
If you're already on Original Medicare or you're about to become eligible, you may be familiar with Parts A and B.
Those cover your doctor visits and hospital care, things you'll also get in an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan. But all-in-one Advantage card holders may get so much more.
I have only one card, and that card helps me with my vision costs, my dental costs, my pharmacy costs, my doctor costs.
Let's scroll a list of the potential benefits that can be covered with this single kind of card. And remember, in addition to all of this, you're still getting the Medicare, hospital, and medical benefits to which you're entitled. Oh, and are you sitting down? These plans may have a $0 monthly premium depending on where you live, no matter your health status or how much money you earn each year.
It is not trickery at all when you hear $0. I'm proof positive.
I love the $0 plans. That fits my pocketbook really well.
Compared to Original Medicare recipients, people with one of these all-in-one Medicare plans had 23% fewer hospital stays and 33% fewer emergency room visits, while also receiving more physician office tests and services.
I love my Medicare Advantage plan. I wouldn't get away from it for anything in the world. It's perfect for me.
I have been able to go out and live a healthy lifestyle, been able to do all the things that I need health-wise, and because I'm able to do that, I feel good about myself, and it has saved me so much money.
One card, one company, one complete and convenient package of Medicare benefits to help you get well or stay well.
And for one low or no monthly plan premium. That's the kind of value you can't afford to ignore. So why not find out more right now? Here's how.
Call 800-525-7153 or visit thiscard800.com for free information about this incredible card with no obligation of any kind. This is free information that could give you more coverage for less money. Call 800-525-7153 or go online now to learn more.
Best Fiends. Collect JoJo and tons of other cute characters. Solve thousands of fun puzzles. Download Best Fiends for free today. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
Banking with Chime is very easy. I feel like I can finally trust my bank. There are no monthly fees. I get paid early. I always have peace of mind that my money is in the right place and in good hands.
Start banking with Chime today at chime.com.
Welcome to Closing Arguments. I'm Seema Iyer in for Vinnie Politan. Now, today was dominated by the cross-examination of Ezra McCandless's former lover. Let's get back inside the courtroom and watch some more.
When the police get there, you're talking to the police and they're talking to you, right?
Yes.
And you're telling them why you're there, right?
Yes.
And they're telling you why they're there, correct?
They didn't specify. They said that someone had called something in. That's all they said.
All right. And they asked you whether or not you were concerned about Alex being violent. You said, I don't think so, but I don't know, right?
I might have said that. This is 2 years ago. You know?
Sure. No worries. So, later on, you found out that Alex was missing, right? Right?
Much later on, yes.
And your first thought was that he had assaulted Ezra and then went on the lam.
Right? I was like, nothing makes sense.
Okay, but that was your first thought, right?
She was injured and her vehicle was missing.
Okay, so after that, let me just say something. Going back to something you testified about yesterday, you were asked some questions by the prosecutor about things Ezra McCandless had told you about sex with Alex, right?
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah, and what you said yesterday was, she told you, I'm not going to quote you word for word yesterday, but you know, that Alex did things she didn't like and wasn't comfortable with.
She had voiced that at moments, yes.
Yeah, and she had voiced to you specifically that things went too fast.
That they went too fast, yes.
And I think the word you used was that there was some choking and boarding, right?
I'm not specifically sure what the terms, or the nomenclatures of the terms she used at the time, but those are the ones I can recall.
And she told you that when she didn't want to do things, Alex would tell her those things were unfair. That was unfair to him, right?
That it was unfair to him, yes.
Okay. Now, getting back to her journal, when she sent you her journal, would it be fair to say that her journal, Silence Broken, was full of hope?
Yes.
Objection, that calls for an opinion.
Sustained.
You read her writing about hopeful things in her journal, what she expressed as being hopeful.
Objection,
right?
the rating stands for itself. It's in evidence. His opinion is not relevant.
Sustained.
You once talked to her about being negative, and she told you that if you're negative, you lose power.
Objection,
right?
hearsay.
Sustained and hearsay.
In her journal, she wrote about getting, or I don't know if it's in her journal, but you knew she was getting a new job, right?
Yeah.
She was, in fact, getting her TB test or uniforms, W-2s, all the things you need to do when you're starting a new job.
Yeah, I believe she had 2 jobs. She was working back at the school, I believe, walking distance, and then she was getting her TB shot read on a Friday to start another job.
And that was like a nursing home, like taking care of people?
Yeah, I believe
right?
so.
And she was involved with her family. She was living at Joe Shane's, right?
She was living at Joe's, yes.
Right. And you were Instagramming with her quite a bit on the night of March 21st, right?
Probably, yeah. We talk quite often.
Okay. What page?
Madam Clerk, can I please have the Elmo one?
Judge, I don't have an objection to the introduction and publication of this exhibit.
It's already been introduced.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, actually, there's
It
some
is
text
not.
that I think was not
I
introduced.
think this is Attorney Vishny's witness.
Okay, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 687 that the state has no objection to, okay?
And that's already in?
It is not.
This is a different-
This is a different photograph of a different version of the same photograph. This one has some text around it.
All right, and are you offering this exhibit? That's before we...
Yes, I am
before it's
offering
published?
it. I'd move to admit it.
Okay, any objection from the state?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Exhibit
Now-
687 will be received and you may publish.
Now, you were shown this exhibit. Oh, I'm not very good at these things. You were shown this exhibit yesterday, right?
I would just ask for clarification. It's
Okay, you were
photograph.
shown this image yesterday in court.
Yes.
That's a picture you took from the Racy's bathroom wall, right?
Yes.
The men's bathroom specifically.
I think there were specific sexes back then, yes.
Okay,
They're
now it's
unisex.
gender neutral?
It's gender neutral.
Okay, but back then they had a men's and a women's, right?
Yes.
All right. And in the men's room, somebody had done this and you saw it and you took a photograph or a screenshot or whatever you want to call it with your phone and you sent it to Ezra McCandless, right?
Yeah, it had been mentioned to me and I
Okay.
let it
Now,
know.
I'm going to, just to be real specific, I'm going to ask you to look, and if you can't see it, let me try to,
The text underneath?
yeah, that's what I'm going to ask you about, okay? Just let me know if you're having a hard time seeing it.
No, I can read it.
All right. So on the Instagram, again, it shows you, Jason
Yes.
Mangle, the Doc Wolf, right?
Yeah.
And you sent this picture, right?
Yes.
And you can see the time, you see the date, March 21st, 2018.
I can see that.
Okay. And you see the time, 23:51:21, right?
Yes.
And that's UTC.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
whatever code.
That's not Central Standard Time or Central Daylight Time, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Judge, I would ask the court to take judicial notice that UTC is 6 hours ahead of Wisconsin time.
Any
On
objection?
March
That-
21st?
It's Central Standard Time in there. I believe that to be correct. I think this is something we can address. It depends on the time of year. It's either 5 or 6. We have a witness who's going to testify about that.
Okay. But it's not Wisconsin time, right?
Yeah, I believe that.
UTC used to be called GMT. Have you ever heard of it as that?
The global something time.
Greenwich
Yeah.
Mean Time?
Or something.
In other words, what time it is in England?
Oh.
Right? Okay. And, but that text was sent a little before 6 p.m. Wisconsin time, right?
On the 21st?
Yes, on March 21st.
Okay. 6 p.m.?
A little before 6 p.m. Does that resonate with your memory?
I mean, possibly. I don't know. This is all...
You
old.
can't remember the
Yeah.
exact. Okay.
Okay, I have a theory. My theory is that when someone repeats the question, they're not telling the truth. They're either buying time or for whatever reason, they're not being honest. And usually you see this when defendants testify. You'll ask the question, hey, what'd you have for breakfast? And they'll say, oh, what did I have for breakfast? That's what I'm getting at. Let's talk to the think tank now. So, Bixon, you made a good comment while we're watching this about mirroring the question, that he does that. What does he do?
I think he's buying time. I mean, he's
So it's
stretching out.
similar to what my theory is.
Yeah, I don't think he's lying per se. I just think he's stretching it out to an unnecessary degree. He's just being difficult.
Do you think there's any chance, though, that he could be lying about Alex Woodward's behavior and character and sexual prowess?
I don't know if he's lying, but it's surely not corroborated if you're the only one out of all these witnesses who can testify to this. No one else saw it, but you happen to see it.
So, Aaron, we really need someone on the defense. For this to work, for what Jason Mangle is saying to help the defense, they have to have other witnesses that are going to say that Alex Woodward was into the BDSM or Boarding, right? That we're still
It would
we're still
certainly help.
we're going to
Yeah.
Google that during the
Yeah,
break.
it would certainly help. I would not want to, hitch the wagon to just Mr. Mingle, for sure. And now there was the one thing when the police first came and he was skulking around the school place across the street. He made some comment about
It's like furiously smoking. Yeah.
that he was concerned about both. He was concerned that maybe Mr. Woodworth was going to do something to her, or that she was not in her right mind. So he was.
Well, he's empathetic. Remember?
So he can sense these things from afar.
He's a sensei.
Yeah.
Again, he's a medic.
I don't think any of those apply. Okay, so here's something I think we were also all noticing when we were watching that, and that is the defendant, Ezra McCandless, looking at him. Now, yesterday, it was so palpable. From the minute he walked in to the courtroom, her entire disposition shifted, her facial expressions, the way she looked at him. She cleaned her glasses. She could not help. I mean, she was lit up. And it was, this whole thing is tragic, right? For many reasons. Now, today, totally different. Boom, nothing. She was a little bit, but she was so markedly different than the smitten kitten that she was last night. Did the defense attorneys talk to her?
Absolutely. 100%. Because the prosecutors were over there just, in
loving.
Perfect, and they were just hoping the jury saw it too. But for the defense attorneys, I guarantee you they had words with her after that.
Okay, so Shania, she has a female lawyer, she has a male lawyer. If you're one of her lawyers, what kind of conversation, like woman to woman? Because sometimes that works, right? Like sometimes it just works for, when your client is the same sex. It is just a way to connect. What kind of conversation do you have with her?
Fix your face. Fix your face.
Fix your face, girl.
He's the enemy.
Fix the face.
He's the enemy.
But wait, Jason Mingle, is he the enemy? Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, I think what I was thinking about when I saw it yesterday, I think they've really missed a lot of opportunities.
Could you imagine
here.
Aaron saying, "Fix your face, girl, fix your face"? Go ahead,
Well,
Aaron.
I definitely would have spoken to her, but they've maybe gone too far now. But I think that yesterday when he walked in the courtroom, the first thing he did was he put his water bottle on the defense table, not on the state. And he turned and he was distracted already because he raised the wrong hand. I think I think he came into the courtroom as a state witness prepared to help the defense. And I think, as we were talking about earlier, I think they've missed some opportunity there with kind of an aggressive cross and really throwing him as a state's witness.
And besides that, putting the water bottle, did you guys see that he did this flip with the water bottle? It was one of those mini water bottles, and he just flipped it like, "Hey, gonna go testify. What's up?" It was just another day at Racy's.
The only thing I can think of here as to why the defense is sort of taking the position they have with him is that they're trying to, because look, the prosecution's entire case is that she was so in love with him, she would do anything for him to get back with him. So maybe they're trying to present it as a more antagonistic relationship, that they weren't so close. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of, that if they're intentionally taking this approach at least.
Okay, Bixon will keep coming up with theories during the break. Next up, our analysis in the killer girlfriend murder trial continues.
When you're looking for answers, it's good to have help, because the right information at the right time may make all the difference. At Humana, we know that's especially true when you're looking for a Medicare supplement insurance plan. That's why we're offering 7 things every Medicare supplement should have. It's yours free, just for calling the number on your screen. And when you call, a knowledgeable licensed agent producer can answer any questions you have and help you choose the plan that's right for you. The call is free and there's no obligation. You see, Medicare covers only about 80% of your Part B medical expenses. The rest is up to you. That's why so many people purchase Medicare supplement insurance plans like those offered by Humana. They're designed to help you save money and pay some of the costs Medicare doesn't. Depending on the Medicare supplement plan you select, you could have no deductibles or copayments for doctor visits, hospital stays, emergency care, and more. You can keep the doctors you have now, ones you know and trust, with no referrals needed. Plus, you can get medical care anywhere in the country, even when you're traveling. With Humana, you get a competitive monthly premium and personalized service from a healthcare partner working to make healthcare simpler and easier for you. You can choose from a wide range of standardized plans. Each one is designed to work seamlessly with Medicare and help save you money. So how do you find the plan that's right for you? One that fits your needs and your budget. Call Humana now at the number on your screen for this free guide. It's just one of the ways that Humana is making healthcare simpler. And when you call, a knowledgeable licensed agent producer can answer any questions you have and help you choose the plan that's right for you. The call is free and there's no obligation. You know Medicare won't cover all your medical costs, so call now and see why a Medicare supplement plan from a company like Humana just might be the answer.
We received this today.
It looks like some sort of ransom note.
And look how much they're asking for.
Ma'am, this is a cable bill.
Fed up with high TV prices? Get Orbi TV. Quality satellite TV for just $40 a month with no contract or credit check. All taxes are included, so the $40 package is just $40.
This looks like a classic shakedown.
Available at Best Buy or go to orbitv.com for more information.
Attention! The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has officially authorized new benefits that Medicare Advantage plans may include. To get the benefits you deserve, you can call the Medicare Coverage Helpline.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. If you're on Medicare, this is important information. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline and they instantly looked up my coverage. In this one simple call, they offered to enroll me in a plan that includes rides to medical appointments, private home aides, doctors and nurses' visits by telephone, and even home-delivered meals. The plan also includes dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost.
Don't delay. Call to see if the new benefits are available in your area.
Call the number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-497-5903. That's 1-800-497-5903 now.
Welcome back to Closing Arguments. So, this entire case revolves around a place called Racy's Coffee Lounge. And here at Corey TV, we often compare it to Central Perk of Friends. Well, a lot more friends testified today. And let's get you back into the courtroom and watch the defendant's friend, Jenna. She was asked a lot of questions about the investigation.
Have you, prior to March 19th, speaking with Ms. McCandless on the phone, that time period, are you with me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I just want to know, I don't want to know the content, I just want to ask whether you had a conversation with John Hanson about the investigation regarding a sexual encounter that John Hanson and Ezra McCandless may or may not have had.
No.
Okay. So on the 19th, you hadn't yet spoke with John Hanson about that allegation/investigation. Agreed?
Agreed.
Fair to say that you hung out at Racy's coffee shop, is that right? I mean, by hung out, I didn't mean like every day, but you were there?
As this whole situation seemed to unfold, I spent less and less time there.
Okay, and probably part of the reason you spend less and less time there is because there's a lot of drama going on there, right?
Yes.
It was not a, for lack of a better term, happy place?
No, not at the time.
There was a lot of people talking about a lot of other people in ways that didn't make you feel good at least, correct?
Yes.
And you wanted to be away from that negativity?
Yes.
So I want to take us back now to the walk that you'd said you'd done with Ezra, okay?
Yes.
I believe you'd said that the walk was in September when you did this, when you went on this walk with Ms. McCandless. If I told you that the procedure didn't happen until October, would that change your opinion, your memory about when you think this walk happened? Are you definitive on September, or is that just kind of a ballpark?
It was cold enough to wear a coat. It was definitely the end of September, early October.
Okay. So it may have been sometime in early October that you had this conversation with her, correct?
Yes.
But what you know, it was a conversation after the procedure, the abortion, right?
Yes.
So whenever that abortion took place, it was sometime after that that you took this walk with Ms. McCandless, correct?
Yes.
And it was during that walk where she was expressing with you her I don't want, if these aren't the right words, tell me, but she was expressing her feelings about that operation, right?
Yes.
Feelings of shame.
I don't know if I would use the word shame.
Okay, well, what word would you use? Regret?
Discomfort.
Okay. From a physical standpoint, an emotional standpoint, or both?
Both. She had talked about how it was pretty painful and she'd had complications after that, and that's why she'd been sick and in bed a lot of the weeks leading up to this walk between us, and then also her discomfort and feelings of distance between her and Jason.
Okay, and so she'd expressed that the father of the aborted baby was Jason, right?
Yes.
And that he had not, she felt left alone. Would that be fair to say?
Yes. After the procedure, she had felt like there had been more distance.
Okay. She didn't, did she say like she wasn't getting the love and support that she wanted? Something along those lines, or those are not the right words?
Support would be a good word to choose, yes.
Okay. And she was sharing that with you as just somebody else that she knew, an older female friend, right?
Yes.
And I imagine you were supportive.
Yes.
Empathized and gave her some of the support that she was looking for in that moment, right?
I tried to, yes.
Sure. And it was around that time, do you recall the trip do you remember Jason leaving and not being at the apartment for a week, 2 weeks, some time period like that around this time of the walk?
Yes, he had gone out to the West Coast with a friend.
Okay. And it was around that time when he's gone to the West Coast with a friend that Ezra and you have this walk in which she shares her feelings with you?
I believe the conversation that we had on that walk happened shortly before Jason went out west.
Okay, so she expressed this feeling of lacking support to you, and then very soon after that, Jason was gone.
I believe a few weeks after that, yes.
Okay. And prior to that, you had made observations of Jason sleeping on the couch, right?
Yes.
So what she had told you about the distance, you observed with your own eyes as well?
Yes.
Jenna, friends with defendant Ezra McCandless, testifying for the prosecution. Okay, Michael Bixon, you found that cross to be confounding. Why?
Well, the state's theory is that she's trying to get back with her boyfriend, and so she kills the victim, right?
Yes.
And so to me, you really have to define the relationship between Ezra and the boyfriend in this case, and you have to be careful about how you define it. If you define it as her being lovesick and trying to get with him, you just have to be very careful about how you approach these questions and how you are describing the relationship that they had, because if you aren't too careful, you can define that relationship as the state has, and it furthers their theory that she's this lovesick girl trying to do whatever she can to get back with him, and that doesn't help your case too much.
I still don't. The defense's case.
Correct.
Right, and I still don't think and now, as we sit here today, the prosecution, and I understand that they don't have to prove motive, but I was a former prosecutor, we like to serve it up. I still don't think we're any closer to that. Motive.
I haven't seen anything.
I just don't feel
about
like a strong, there's no strong motive. So, okay, and just kind of going a little bit to your point about the love sickness, this is a love pyramid, we've been calling it, okay? So Ezra McCandless at the center of the love pyramid, her main connection, main boyfriend has always been Jason Mengel. At some point, Jason Mengel leaves to go for National Guard. I think it's like a reserves type thing. And he says to his friend John Hanson, hey, take care of my girl. John Hanson took care of his girl repeatedly. And then, during all of this mix between 2017, 2018, she's sleeping with Alex Woodworth as well. Okay, so this trial has been riddled with these side issues. One side issue is that she made a false complaint about a sexual assault regarding John Hanson, and they brought that cop in, and Hanson is expected to testify. Like, it's just so, it was so far off field. Another issue that came up today, and we just saw a clip of Jenna talking about this, is Jenna Van de Zandt. She was talking about the abortion. Was the fact that Ezra McCandless having an abortion, how is that relevant to this case? And is it at all helpful to either side?
I don't find it helpful really to either side, or if it's just something, maybe it's almost like the state's throwing something out here as like a red herring to focus on this because they don't have a motive. I don't know. I don't see how it helps anybody.
Do you, Shania?
I think it could help the defense if we're talking about her being depressed and having that state of mind. She just lost her child, and now she's having to deal with her relationship with Jason going downhill. So it could help possibly the defense, but I don't know how it's going to help the state.
And I don't think it was that recent. I believe, and I have to check this, but I believe they said that she had to get the abortion on her birthday, which would have been October 6th of 2017. So it would have been before that. But it kind of goes into the narrative of why maybe her relationships were dysfunctional.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree with Shania on this. I don't really see how this really does anything for the state. If anything, I think it helps present a little bit more sympathy for her and the jurors. You know, it doesn't really, I don't think it really does anything for them at all. I don't see where you can really use this towards your case for anything.
And okay, and does anyone? The thing that's bothering me is that still, even through that, we have seen essentially 2 days of Jason Mengel testifying, right? And he is supposed to be part of the prosecution's theory of motive, because I mean, do you agree that even though they don't have to prove motive, jurors like to hear about motive?
Absolutely.
You see, everybody agrees with that, you know, and I hate when lawyers or people say, oh, we don't have to prove motive. It doesn't matter. You're saying to jurors, use your common sense. And then you're telling them not to ask why?
And without the why, isn't that reasonable doubt? I mean, to me, you have to have a motive. Whether it's an element of the offense or not, doesn't matter. You better have some theory that makes some sense to a jury if they're going to go back there and convict somebody of murder.
But is there anything in Jason Mengel's testimony that got us closer to motive or perhaps away from it?
Probably, for me at least, it was further away from it. I mean, because there was nothing that he said that really established that lovesickness, that she was trying to do anything she could to get back with him. I didn't get... And was it getting back with him, was Alex Woodworth at all impeding on that? I'm still not there yet either. Not at all, not in the slightest.
I don't think so either. I mean, here we have, like I said, the victim and the defendant ending up in the car. Jason didn't want to see that happen, and now we have a situation where, again, Jason is the only one who magically can testify all the things that happened, but no one can support what he's saying.
And he doesn't know how to answer questions. That's the other problem. Okay, so coming up next, I believe we are going to hear from Alex Woodworth's roommate. He testified today as well. That's coming up.
He was seeing someone who was identifying as a male.
Ezra McCandless had changed her name from Monica to Ezra. She is standing trial for stabbing one of her lovers to death. Was this murder?
She fought to survive.
How many stab wounds are too much for self-defense?
Her wounds could have been self-inflicted.
This case is about a twisted form of love.
For more than 150 years, Brinks has been trusted with keeping your money safe. Now, Brinks introduces the Brinks Prepaid MasterCard to help protect what matters most to you. When security matters most to your family, you can trust Brinks.
Managing a family is a big responsibility.
They rely on us, and we rely on Brinks.
When having confidence that your money is safe matters most, Brinks can help. And integrity and trust are hallmarks of Brinks' heritage.
I trust Brinks to help me do the right things with my money. And my family trusts me.
When getting paid faster matters most, you can trust Brinks' direct deposit. Get your paycheck or government payments up to 2 days faster.
Direct deposit puts our money in our hands faster than a paper check.
And Brinks helps us spend responsibly. We can track our purchases and pay bills online.
The Brinks difference? All the simple to use budgeting tools that make us better at managing our money.
And doing a better job gives us peace of mind.
Call now or go online to order your Brinks prepaid MasterCard. There's no credit check and no cost to order. When having control of your money matters most, you can trust Brinks. Just load money onto your card account or use direct deposit. Shop at your favorite stores or online, pay bills, buy groceries.
With Anytime Alerts, I get a text message every time I use my card, so I can keep track of my balance.
Call now or go online to order your Brinks prepaid MasterCard. There's no credit check and no cost to order. And with a qualifying direct deposit, we'll upgrade you to Brinks Preferred, including a savings account that can earn up to a 5% annual percentage yield. Even choose your card design. Now it's your turn to experience the Brinks difference. Get paid up to 2 days faster with Brinks prepaid MasterCard. Get the peace of mind you deserve with MasterCard's zero liability protection. For more than 150 years, Brinks has helped people build better lives by protecting what matters most. Call right now to order your Brinks prepaid MasterCard. Call 1-800-807-3725. There's no cost to order. Call now.
Non-attorney spokesperson. Attention landscapers and anyone working in the landscape industry. This is an important alert for users of the weed killer Roundup that have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Juries have awarded over $2 billion to users of Roundup who were subsequently diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Roundup is the most widely used herbicide in the United States, with billions of pounds applied each year. Farm workers and landscapers are at the highest risk of injury from exposure. Time is limited to file a claim. If you work with Roundup Weed Killer and were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, don't wait. Call the Roundup Legal Helpline now. You could be entitled to significant compensation. Farm workers and landscapers are at the highest risk of injury from exposure. If you've been exposed to Roundup and have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, time is limited to file a claim. Don't wait. Call the Roundup Legal Helpline right now. You could be entitled to significant compensation.
Call 800-890-4183, 800-890-4183.
Welcome back to Closing Arguments. Today, Alex Woodward's former roommate, Matthew Schreiner, testified and talked about why he purchased earplugs. Take a look.
And you worked during that time period, agreed?
Yes.
And I think you said it, but did you get up at 2 a.m., you said, to go to work?
At 2 a.m. or 1 a.m.
Okay. So kind of in the middle of the night is when you would work through the early morning hours, agreed?
Yes.
And then was your sleep schedule, you'd come home from work and you'd go right to sleep, or would you try to start your day and go to sleep later in the afternoon? What was your sleep schedule?
I would go to sleep about 8 o'clock.
In the morning?
At night.
Okay, so you go to sleep at 8 o'clock, you'd wake up around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. when you had to go to work, is that right?
Yes.
And then from that time, you'd work until the next morning, 8, 10 o'clock?
Into the afternoon.
Okay. And then you'd do your daily life activities in the afternoons, right?
Yes.
And then your morning started around 7 or 8 p.m. Or, excuse me, your evening when you went to sleep, your bedtime was 7 or 8 p.m.
Yes.
Okay. And it was during this bedtime where at some point you decided you didn't want to listen to what was going on in the room next door, that you got earplugs, correct?
Yes.
And those earplugs, I imagine, solved the problem for you, right?
Mostly.
Yeah, once you put the earplugs in, you couldn't hear what was going on next door, correct?
I could still hear some things.
Sure, but not as clearly.
Not clearly.
I mean, that's why you got the earplugs, so that you could be prevented from hearing what was going on next door, right?
Yes.
And it worked. Agreed?
Yes.
And I would imagine it didn't take you long to be motivated to get those earplugs. You probably got those in November or December of 2017?
Yes.
Okay. And you continued to have those earplugs November, December, January, February time to, again, help solve that problem that I'm calling it a problem, but to solve your having to hear what's going on next door, right?
Yes.
You've spoken with the police about this, is that right?
Yes.
And at one point you told the police about how there was a time that you'd actually heard Ezra yell. Is that right?
Yes.
And that wasn't something that the state just asked you about, did they?
No.
Okay, but there was a time where you said she had to yell at Alex one time, right?
Yes.
And you could tell that she was angrily yelling, correct?
Yes.
But it was that one time that you recall that you'd had, correct?
Yes.
Was this before you got the earplugs or during the earplugs?
I believe it was during the earplugs.
Okay, so what else you could or couldn't hear because of the earplugs, you don't know. Agreed?
Yes.
You'd also, like I think, did you hang out at, well, I want to ask you about a time in December or January. Were you at your apartment when Jason Mangle, do you know who Jason Mangle is?
Yes.
Do you recall the time Jason Mangle came to your apartment to provide aid for your roommate?
Yes.
All right, and your understanding was that he was there to patch up Alex's arm, correct?
Correct.
Or his wrist had been cut, correct?
I'm not sure if it was his wrist, but it was on his arm.
Okay, whether it was his wrist, his forearm, or some other place, it was on his appendage, right?
Yes.
And I think in previous conversations you've used, you called that an accident in quotes, is that right?
I said that Alex told me that it was an accident.
Correct.
And
you've described that to other people. You've used the term accident, but you've always put it in quotes. Agreed?
not always.
Yeah, fair enough. You've had occasion to put the word accident in quotes when describing what happened to Alex's arm, right?
Yes.
And you used those quotes because you weren't sure whether it was or it wasn't an accident.
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled on that. If it would be this witness did it, so you can answer the question.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. You put it in quotes because you weren't sure whether it was an actual accident or whether it was just alleged to be an accident. Agreed?
Yes.
All right. Those are the only questions I have. Thank you.
Okay, any redirect?
Just as it relates to the incident when you heard the defendant yelling, could you tell what she was yelling about?
No.
All right. And approximately when was that, if you recall?
It was late. I don't recall.
Okay.
Probably after 10 p.m.
Okay. I guess, and that was a bad question. That's my fault because it wasn't clear what I meant by that. Do you recall approximately what month it was when that occurred?
I do not.
Okay.
That was the roommate of the victim, Alex Woodworth. Now, here's something we all learned in law school. You never ask a question that you don't know the answer to. There are a lot of questions both sides could have asked, but they didn't know the answers. So we are going to talk about those questions because when you hear that the roommate had earplugs, I want to know why he had earplugs. But it's clear that neither lawyer, nobody knew whether the roommate heard the sexual activity. And that's really what we all want to know, right? Because if you want to believe that Alex Woodworth and Ezra McCandless engaged in BDSM or whatever kind of freaky activities that they were into, you got to ask the question. But does everyone agree with that? Because we all learned this in law school.
I do, yeah. I mean, it was a missed opportunity. I think they could have explored it. I think it definitely would have helped the defense. No question about it.
But there was a danger that because here's the question, I think, if they knew the answer, right? They could have just asked him, did you hear them having sex? Because, he went into I could hear them, we have the earplugs, the reason I got the earplugs. Did you hear them having sex? Did you hear screaming or yelling or yelping or some other kind of question? But listen, it's uncomfortable, but if you know the answers, you can ask the questions.
I would assume they would have interviewed the witness and asked that question ahead of time and they knew what the answer was, but if they didn't, you got to stay away from it. And if they did, then they asked and he said, no, I bought them just because I'm a light sleeper or something, and they want to make the inference, and I guess that's why we heard several questions about the earplugs and the timing of it.
Should someone have asked, and again, they probably didn't have the answers, did Alex Woodworth have whips and chains and scarves and handcuffs. I mean, aren't these things that this jury wants to know? How can you buy into the BDSM if you don't have the equipment? It's like being a tennis player, not having a tennis racket.
Yeah, but if
right?
he answers in the negative, it's not going to help
Where
you.
were they in a new age BDSM? They didn't have all those materials.
Okay. Should someone have asked him, because this is another allegation about Alex and Ezra, did Alex look at porn? Were there any other pornographic materials?
Yeah, I mean, they're tough questions. They're uncomfortable for jurors to hear, but in a case like this is the case. That's what it's about. You've got to delve into those topics.
But none of them. I mean, it just wasn't there. And I believe, and there was just so many witnesses today, I can't remember if he was, I think he did say basically at some point, either on the stand or to our Julie Grant, that Alex rather was a peaceful person, right? I mean, and that's part of it. Do you think that, big picture in this case, that even though the defendant is alleging self-defense, that it's just going so far afoul at this point, bringing the victim's character in? I mean, is this just too much now?
Absolutely not. I mean, they sort of are doing it with the notebooks and stuff. I mean, that's what they fully intend to do, I think, and to sort of present him, because the prosecution is presenting him as this peaceful, lovable, kind of guy, and it does nothing for the defense. I mean, they have to counteract it in order to sort of mitigate it, right?
The problem I have with this is that I think, and Aaron, you're a former prosecutor, let me ask you, I think the prosecution should have objected further for the victim's character to be brought in until the foundation of the defendant testifying, because the hurdle is the defendant has to have known on March 22nd, 2018 of all the writings and all the philosophy and have that reasonable fear inside of her. So I think before anything should have been even alluded to, she has to testify to lay the foundation.
I would agree with you.
I think they should have objected much stronger.
And I guess if they've already said she's going to testify, I mean, maybe they're sort of just expecting this show to occur later, and so they didn't want to fight it. But I mean, there were a lot of, as I understand it, some writings from Mr. Woodsworth that are interesting.
No, they are, but I just think that none of this should be allowed in because it's the prosecution's case. We're getting into the victim's character. It's just a mess. It's a bit of a mess. But hey, tomorrow's a new day, and our live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the killer girlfriend murder trial begins at 9 a.m. What can we expect? Talk about that next.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. See disclaimer for law firms. Attention all women who have been diagnosed with ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one used talcum powder for routine feminine hygiene and later suffered from ovarian cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. The use of talc-based powders has been linked to ovarian cancer, and many large manufacturers of talc-based products fail to properly warn women that the use of talcum powder could lead to ovarian cancer. If you were diagnosed with ovarian cancer, or if a loved one even died from ovarian cancer, talcum powder may be to blame. Call right now. You may be owed significant compensation from the manufacturer. Call Nightline Legal to speak with an experienced attorney to determine if you may qualify. If we don't win, there is no fee. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait. Call right now.
1-800-510-2403. Again, that's 1-800-510-2403.
This is the kind of card that has America talking. With it, people with Medicare are getting all-in-one coverage for their doctor visits, hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll. Whether for yourself or someone you love, call the number on the screen now. Call now.
We got one of those new purple mattresses, and it is amazing. You have to try it.
You didn't need to.
Shh.
just lie down. Oh, this doesn't feel like memory foam. No. This feels amazing. Right? What is it?
Actually, it's called Purple, and it's nothing like memory foam. It's a totally unique gel grid technology meticulously designed to cradle and support the human body. It sleeps cool, it's motion isolating, and honestly, I love it more than 2 of my 3 children.
Cool.
We loved our Purple so much, we got one for the guest bedroom. That way, when my in-laws come, they can stay in my bed and I can stay.
Okay, feel that? Adapts instantly.
Honey!
Oh, hey, honey. Yeah, so just showing the guys the new Purple mattress.
For a limited time, choose a free Purple product with mattress purchase at purple.com/TV.
Best Fiends. Collect JoJo and tons of other cute characters. Solve thousands of fun puzzles. Download Best Fiends for free today. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
We're looking for a few not-so-good drivers. Had an accident? Credit not perfect? You're probably paying too much for car insurance, if you can afford it at all.
I have a choice.
Yes, Good to Go auto insurance costs less. Buy just what you need to be legal. Put as little as $20 down, pick a due date, then pay monthly. Go to goodtogo.com. Get a rate quote in under a minute. It's fast, cheap, and easy. Goodtogo.com. That's good, 2, go.com.
Daily Look is my style, my way. My personal stylist makes sure I love how I look in styles that work just for me. That's why the fit is perfect, the quality is incredible, and the style is 100% me.
Visit dailylook.com now to start your style profile.
First, you were going to go to John's to look for her, right?
Yeah, it was pretty far out of town, though.
Okay, and then you change your mind and you decide, I'm going to go to Alex's and look for her, right?
Yeah, it was closer.
Because you didn't want her to be talking with Alex in person, right?
I thought it would be in her best interest to have a keep the peace or something else, someone there.
I understand that. What I'm saying is you didn't want her to be talking with Alex.
I didn't want to stop her from talking with him. I just wanted to protect my friends.
Later on, you found out that Alex was missing, right? Right?
Much later on, yes.
And your first thought was that he had assaulted Ezra and then went on the lam.
Right? I was like, nothing makes sense.
Okay, but that was your first thought, right?
She was injured and her vehicle was missing.
Okay.
What was the first thing that the defendant told you prior to talking to John Hanson about her sexual relationship with John Hanson?
That it was an assault.
That it was an assault?
Yes.
And then once you talked to John Hanson, how was that amended?
I would talk to him. I asked him what had happened. He gave me a story. I released some details of things I knew. He changed his story. And this between the two parties, I was doing this because I was privy to more information at that point. I just wanted to seek the truth.
So did the defendant tell you more information after you had some conversation with John Hanson?
She told me more, yes. We ended up going for a drive.
And did she tell you information that was different than what she told you initially before you talked to John Hanson?
Yes.
One specific time she was coming out of my bathroom, she had a towel on, and Alex was with her. And she told me that she broke up with Jason and asked me if I thought it was great.
And did she, how did she look at that point in time? Did she have any expression on her face?
She was smiling.
And then she responds that it's not healthy, we have zero communication. And why do you respond with, yeah, his communication style is ... complicated?
I was trying to be tactful in my response. Jason Mengel's communication style is incredibly complicated. He unfortunately has not learned that words have the power to hurt people, regardless of your intention of those words, and often uses the excuse of trying to be honest when really he just sounds like a jerk.
Did you have a phone call from the defendant, or receive a phone call?
Yes.
And what did the defendant tell you during that phone call?
She stated that it was my fault that Jason had texted her breaking up with her. She said I needed to fix it, that I needed to wake him up and talk to him about it immediately, that it was She repeated multiple times that it was my fault, that things were not going the way that they should have been, that I was getting involved in a situation that I was not supposed to be in. And then she told me, Jenna, I heard that you don't believe that I was assaulted.
And how did you respond?
I was crying. I felt like a bad friend. I apologized multiple times. I said that there had been so many things going on that I didn't know what to believe anymore. And I just kept profusely apologizing. But the hair on the back of my neck stood up the entire conversation because she was talking in the same tone that I am right now. And if you were accusing of someone of not believing that you were raped, I would think you would be a bit more upset about it. And so I was very unnerved the entire conversation.
And meanwhile, while the defendant's calm, you're crying.
Yes.
And so what, if anything, did you do after, well, I guess how long was this conversation with the defendant?
About an hour and 15 minutes.
And how do you know that it occurred on March 19th of 2018?
It was the day after my birthday, and that phone call will haunt me for the rest of my life.
After they started dating, as much as Alex was an exemplary and unique individual, he was a stereotypical guy in many ways, and I didn't see him much at all until after they had broken up.
All right.
But
So,
I was there when he first started, yay, I have a girlfriend.
I talked a little bit about like, you probably get questioned and stuff like that. That's what I told him, is like, I'm sure you might get questioned at some point during the case and things, and seemed upset about it. But he mostly seemed upset about Jason and I, because he told me like that if I proceeded to talk to Jason, he would be very upset.
Okay, who had a better day? And what can we expect looking ahead? Let's ask the think tank. Bixon. Bixon, you were laughing through the whole thing. Okay, there was one point, though, you did say that the roommate, Matthew Schreibner, I may be saying his name, Schreiner, Matthew Schreiner said something that you said was good for the prosecution?
I thought it was crushing for the prosecution.
Oh, sorry, yeah, what
them.
was that?
So he had said that when they came out of the shower, she said, I broke up with Jason, isn't that great? And that is horrible for their case. Because again, they need to portray her as this lovesick girl who's going to do anything, and that's their motive, right? And if they're, I mean, it destroys their motive altogether.
But would you think the defense had the better day?
Overall, yeah, I do. And at first I wasn't inclined to say so, but
right. And what do we? Okay,
yeah.
but just because I want to recap some of these other witnesses, Jenna testified, and Jenna seemed just really
dry.
She seemed angry, yeah.
She did not want to be there.
Yeah, she did not want to be there. Well, again, called by the prosecution, but she is the friend of Ezra McCandless. So did she move the needle either way? Are you thinking the defense had the better day or the prosecution?
Neither.
Neither.
They both go home and regroup.
Okay, Aaron?
I was going to go with the state maybe, but now I'm kind of agreeing with you. I think there's still no motive. That bugs me. But the defense missed a lot of opportunities today, so I'll give it to the state today, but just
barely. Okay, the prosecution is expected to rest tomorrow by lunch. Do you think, now their expert, their ER doctor, made unequivocally a diagnosis that these wounds on Ezra were self-inflicted. Should they call some type of cutting expert?
I don't know how much you want to distance yourself from that.
Well, should the defense? Because the defense case starts tomorrow afternoon. Looking ahead, should the defense?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying for the defense, I don't know how much they want to just try to distance themselves from the fact. And to be more clear, if they call an expert, is it going to do anything for them, is what I'm saying? Or is it just going to sort of dig even deeper into that?
Oh, that's a terrible pun. Oh, I'm going to done with you now, Bixon.
I wasn't
Bixon,
even
that was
going
terrible.
there. I was
no.
not even going there, and you did.
No, we need to just like take a break. Okay.